Hello Sagittarius, welcome to or welcome back to Marion K Tarot. This is going to be your general reading for the month of August 2025, and what we are doing this month is we are taking an oracle card from the Find Your Own Way Oracle by Ari Wisner, and the tarot messages will be coming from the Visionary Woman Tarot by Kristine Gorman, okay, which will be out this month. Okay, so put you there and we'll dig into this. So how have you been, Sag? It's like I feel like I'm reacquainting myself with all the signs because unfortunately I had to take last month off due to my voice. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the lovely Stevie's reading because she actually did two. And it was you get a wee extra bonus last month because if you looked in the description box, you would have seen her extra reading for you. Because what happened was she recorded one and she thought it was too long. So then she recorded it again and I was like, no. We're using the two of them. So if you caught up with the both of them, I hope you enjoyed them. And please go and give Stevie some love, show her some love, and thank you for being so understanding. Very much appreciated. So let's see, what have we got going on, Sag? What's the card that's coming towards you? I'm not taking that. If it wants to come out, it can come out. Right, what have we got? Connect your own wisdom. Collect your own wisdom, sorry. There's another sign, there's a sign I done yesterday. And they get this card. So I'm wondering, I'm trying to remember. It definitely. Oh, I'm going to say something now. Probably. I don't know. It was either. I don't think it was Leo. But it was either Leo, Virgo, Libra, or Scorpio. I think it might have been Libra, but don't quote me because you know what I'm like. I've got a memory like a sieve. So, Sag, collect your own wisdom. You are literally like the wise soul of the zodiac, okay, even though people might not think of that, but you are the collector of stories because you go on your adventures and you collect experiences. The wisdom is deep within you, and it's a sign, you're a sign that people don't automatically see that with, but it's like you're like the old soul. You're like the centre, you're the centre, and the centre that gazes at the stars and tells the stories of the ages by the stars. That's what I love about you, Sag. And interestingly enough, when I was preparing to get this reading, settled down to do this reading for you, one of the main things that came to mind was remember and take your shoes off. Okay, now I'm a Sag ascendant. And I've spoken to other people that are Sagittarius, etc. And there seems to be this real thing about hating having your feet covered. Okay, like whether that's in socks or in boots, etc. There's some kind of a need for Sagittarius' feet to be free and easy. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it seems to be a thing. Certainly with myself, I just absolutely hate my feet being covered up. So whether that is something to do with collecting your own wisdom, I don't know, Sag. I really don't. It might be. There might be something that you just think to yourself, all right, okay, let's see what I can do. But you know the knowledge tree. You find knowledge in hidden places, and I think that's what this card is trying to say. Collect your own wisdom. You don't need to ask for advice, Sad. You have the experience, and even if you feel like you don't have the experience, you get the experience of the ages. That's the words that are coming through to me. You get the wisdom of the ages. So let's see how that transpires in the main reading. Okay, Sag. Interesting. You know, I've got a very like it's like a kind of compulsive need to move. I mean, it's like, you know, it's kind of a, like you're constantly in the move. I mean, you're constantly in the move. You know, you do enjoy. You don't like being in the one place all at the one time. And it feels like the last couple of months or so, maybe the last year or so, you've had your wings clipped. That's what it feels like. And maybe it's the fact that you have got Uranus and Gemini now, you know what I mean? It's like your opposite sign. How is that attracting? You know, how are you finding that? Is it challenging? Is it fun? Is it? I mean, I don't know if anything with Uranus can be fun, but you know, let's see what the cards have got. So we have got the Moon, the Devil, the Page of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. Okay, Sag. At the bottom of the deck, there you are showing up for yourself, the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter, your ruling sign. Okay, so what am I thinking with this? Do you know the first thing that strikes me with this, Sag? Other than what you could say Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, there's no fire. There is no fire, and really, there's no air. So, where does that leave us, Sag? Well, it leaves us with earth and water. Okay, the receptive signs, the signs that receive, and that is not your natural, comfortable place to be. You're a fire sign. You like things. You know, you like to be going forward. You like to be the person. You're the giver, as opposed to the receiver, and it feels very much like this month, the month of August, you're being asked to lean into the notion and the energy of being in receipt of things. Okay, now when I say being in receipt of things, what it feels like is you have been working so hard, okay, and you've been given a lot of yourself. You've been given a lot of your time, your energy, your emotions. You know, you've just been given a lot. And what this feels like to me, Sag, is, you know what, it's time to reap the benefits. Your Wheel of Fortune is turning. You know, if you've been kind of in the weeds and the melancholy has just been like so much, and you know, you've kind of felt like, will this change? Well, when will this end, etc., etc. It feels very much that August is a turning point for you. We've got that Page of Pentacles, and this looks like it's like a book bridge. For some reason, that's what I'm seeing. You know, it's like this page in. Then we've got more books here in the High Priestess. Well, she's the keeper of secrets. And it just feels, you know, we've got this lunar energy. And in the month of August, you know, we've got some really intense lunar lunar energies going on, you know. And it could may well be that it's just time for you to feel the feelings, Sag. You know, there could be this, there feels like with the Moon and the Devil showing up here, okay, so it's like hidden addictions, right? That's the That's the phrase that is coming towards me. Hidden addictions, and then we've got the High Priestess here as the outcome. So it's like there's something very secretive about the month of August. That's what it's kind of leaning towards for me personally. Now, it's a bit, you get this 10 of Cups, right? So it's like a bit kind of family, and this kind of there could be some secrets coming out with regards to your family. For some of you. Okay, of course this is a general reading and it will only resonate with some of you, but this is what it feels like. It feels like there's this kind of and it feels like you might have been holding a secret. You may have been keeping a secret to yourself because you've been afraid to speak your truth. And I hate that phrase. I absolutely detest that phrase, speak your truth. But sometimes that's like, there's been this fear, and there's been this there's been a fear around upsetting the apple cart, so to speak. It feels very much that, and I've been getting this feeling quite a lot over the last few months for you, Sag, whereby there's this restless energy. You all the signs you probably have the most restless energy, but it just feels like it's getting to the point where you can no longer hide it. And it could be that Uranus opposition, the fact that Uranus is now in Gemini. It's in Gemini until the 7th of November. 7th, 8th of November. And it's that restlessness that's within you. It's like you're wanting to, whether you want to move, physically move, you want to move jobs, you want to move career, you want to shift. There just seems like, it seems a lot of the time, and what it also feels like, now this is what it feels like, right? You have been diligent in your work, okay? You've had your nose to the grindstone, and you have been working so hard for your family, for your business, for your partner, for your spouse, whatever it is. And it feels like it's beginning to grate on you, to be perfectly honest. It feels like it's turning into a thankless task. To be honest, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's a thankless task, and you're just like, well, what's the fucking point? Sorry for swearing, but that's just what it feels like. It's like you bring all this amazing stuff to the table. You know what you know your worth, Sag. And I think that over the last wee while, there's been people in your life who have maybe, kind of taking advantage of that fact. Taking advantage of the fact that you know your worth, and it's almost like they see your worth, but it's like the more they see it, the less you see it. And I don't want to say, I don't want to use another kind of cliche term as, oh well, you must be getting gaslit. That isn't the thing, Sad. That's not the phrase that I would use. It just feels very much like you're being seen as a part of the furniture now. It's like the furniture in a room. It's just like, oh, it's fine, Sag is there. I'm reminded of this reel, or this video or something. It was doing the rounds a while ago, and it was Australia, and it was this guy, and he was living with his partner, and he said he had this like magic table where anything that you put on the table, it disappeared. And the woman was just like, are you serious? Because obviously it was her picking up after the guy all the time. And then the cops came, and it was a male and female cop, and the guy was saying about this magic table, and the male cop was like, that's true, I know, because that happens, that I've got one of them in my house as well. And the female cop is just looking between the two of them like, are you fucking serious? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? And that's something that's really it's really interesting, and that's what it feels like. You know, it feels like you have suddenly became this magic table where everything gets done and it just magically happens, you know, and the people that you're either living with or in relationships with, there's this like kind of a taking advantage of, and you're secretly harbouring resentment. That's what it feels like. Look, you're harbouring resentment for the people that you love, and you don't like feeling like that. So none of us like feeling like that. None of us like feeling like we're being taken advantage of. You know, so it's like we need to like kind of find a way to change that narrative. You know, how do we change that narrative? Because you're sitting here working away, and to the outside world, it looks as if you've got this really happy family situation. And the family doesn't need to be like a partner and kids. You know, it can be any kind of family. And it's just a bit like, well, please stop taking the piss out of me. And I think going forward in August, these realizations will be becoming stronger and stronger. And going back to this oracle card, you know, it's like collect your own wisdom. You know how to get out of this situation, Sag, because I dare say that there's been times in the past where you've either felt like that, or you know that there's ways to change it because you've had previous experience, or you've learnt from other people, you know, maybe previous work colleagues or that sort of thing, you know, people who have maybe been in your life previously and they have seen and you've seen them going through something similar, so you know the steps to take. And I think it's really important, Saj, that you take these steps over the course of August, regardless of what that may look like. It could be something as simple as having a conversation with somebody, you know, because a lot of the times we're negligent and we're guilty of not realising that we're doing something, you know, and how the experience that we have of something is different from the experience of somebody else. So just bear that in mind. Um, all in all, I mean, overall, I mean, there's nothing terribly awful, but that secretive addiction, that secret addiction, maybe, I mean, sad, I'm not going to beat about the bush, but maybe you're secretly addicted to being the martyr. I don't know. You know, that's another way to look at it. But all in all, I think like through communication, through patience and understanding, and really getting to know yourself again, then you can work this out. Okay, Saj. So that's what I've got for you. Remember, if you want to book a personal reading, the link is in the description box below. If you don't already subscribe, would you consider subscribing? I would really love that. And I will speak to you again. Okay, take care. Bye.